Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to The Folding List, where we pay attention to the movie so you don't have to. And my name's Travis. I'm usually accompanied by Cam, where we talk about these movies and things. But I told him, you know what? I think we're going to have Nick Cannon finally step in. Just go ahead and take over for a little while. It'll be okay. You can go on a break. But Nick Cannon was busy with some other babies or something. I don't know. He couldn't show up, so I went ahead and asked my boy to join me on the stream today. What's going on, Brian? What's going on, man?
Oh, it's definitely not Nick Cannon. I mean,
I know.
he's too busy out there just impregnating left and right. Just
Yeah, I don't know why that's his thing, but we're just gonna let it be his thing. Yeah, and thanks for stepping in, man. Cam's gonna take a little personal time, take a vacation from this. I'm gonna get hustling on it, but thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it for sure.
no problem, man. I'm glad to be here for this one because you guys always invite me on for some good ones because there's Snatch, one of my favorites, Aliens, which I love, and now Predator, the Predator 2, which the whole franchise I got opinions about, and so yeah, I actually I put this franchise in with the same basket as Aliens for obvious reason, and also Terminator because
Yeah,
it's a really good original sci-fi, like the others. That's like actually kind of a horror action movie
yep,
blend.
yep.
Sequels that are tonally different but still good, and then just trash after trash after trash with like
Yeah,
maybe a redeeming like one-off like movie like Aliens had Prometheus, which was like yes a like pseudo prequel to Alien, flawed but still good. Terminator had Terminator Salvation. I enjoyed. I know a lot of people talk shit about that movie.
yeah, yeah. It was
And then
solid. Yeah.
this one had their offshoot was recent. It was Prey, which was like a back to the original,
Yep,
but it was great.
yep.
And it follows a formula that we're gonna get into that like I'm like, oh, but man, so many just trash, trash Predator movies. And
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I'm
But
including
this
the
one's
Alien versus Predator crossovers in this.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
yeah,
this one, I've always loved this one.
it's
It may not,
entertaining. It's
yeah,
very
exactly.
entertaining.
It may not be perfect, but it's definitely entertaining. And um, because obviously, audience, I don't know if you saw you heard really paid attention to the intro if we even had one this week, but we're doing Predator 2, which is I've seen it a million times. I hadn't seen it in a long time, so I rewatched it again for the show, and Brian and I both like decided this was a good one to talk about because of all of the different spin-offs, like you were saying, Brian, all the different changes and sequels
Hmm.
and tonal changes that they went through the years. But this one I love because it was almost an immediate tonal change from the original, like Arnold Schwarzenegger one. But
Hmm.
before we get into that, what's been going on, man? Like, I know you've been hustling hard on other stuff, but how's the art treating you? Like, what you working on?
So right now, I'm just kind of getting back into doing a little practice drawing, or whatever. I kind of had to put the art stuff on hold for a little bit. I was working 7 days a week to save up money for a down payment for the
Yeah.
car. Got the new car.
Yep.
Finally, like ironed out my schedule. Took a day off a
Yeah.
week, and like now I have like a schedule that I'm sticking to.
Yeah.
So and I just refreshed some stuff you can see in the background. So I got some new art. I'm feeling inspired, so I'm back. I'm getting back into the art. Um, got to start like posting more once I do that. But yeah, if lately it's just been literally like working for the money
Oh yeah.
and stacking up that. So
Hey
it
man.
hasn't really been as high of an output as I would like it to be, but it's about to be significantly more.
Nice, man.
So
Yeah, yeah. Because I know you're always like doing like, you know, logos and stuff for people on the side and doing that kind of stuff. But it's always cool seeing your fine art things and like your actual paintings and digital art. Like I've always wanted to like get back into it, but spending the time sitting down and doing it, like it's really it's one of those things where if you don't have the time, making yourself have the time to do it is always tough. But I did think about doing the like kind of getting into digital art on the iPad because
Mhm.
I've been
Well,
seeing a lot of people get into that recently.
that's something. So like the thing about like doing it analog and hand painting and stuff is like you really do have to block out time and plan because it takes a lot of setup. You're dealing with paints that they'll dry out. You got to
Oh yeah,
you got to do things in a timely fashion. So I got the iPad. I've been doing digital art because it's so easy to just like pick up and put down.
yeah,
That's why and so I can sketch out an idea for a painting, or I can just do digital art, like directly on the iPad and then post that. I kind of do these illustrations of like different social media personalities. I'm doing one. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok this girl Lean Beef Patty.
oh yeah,
She's
yeah.
real popular.
Super popular. Yeah,
Yeah, I follow her for a lot of like workout stuff, and that's the only reason, no other reason whatsoever. But no, I'm doing a drawing. I'm doing an illustration of her. It was previously like Maximum Claire. That's another like fitness influencer. I did some digital portraits of my friends Kira and Sarah.
well, that's cool.
So yeah, when the NFT things was going on, I tried that, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
more like just I took my digital pieces and transferred that I just minted them into
yeah, man.
NFTs. They're
Just
still sitting there.
minimum
I don't know
new medium. Yeah,
what Ethereum or any of that crypto is doing. It's pretty much a dead market right now.
yeah.
But
Don't
hey,
even
could
worry
come
about it right
back.
now. Just
Whatever.
don't look.
They're all just sitting on OpenSea.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I can
And that's kind
also
of the thing.
I
It's
can
like it's
also
digital. It
save
can just
them.
sit there. So it's
Yeah,
just
and
there.
I can also make prints out of them later. I
Yeah.
got like the skulls, like with the magenta. I got the heart that I did, the moths, like so. Yeah, it's nice because you can do a lot of different effects without a whole lot of mess and a whole lot of setup, and that's why
Yeah. Yeah.
again. I'm glad we're doing this movie because I recently threw this on in the background while doing art, like maybe like a month or two ago,
For sure.
and so it's still fresh in my mind. But like there were still points where I was like I would be drawing painting and I like like,
You
oh, this
just
seems
staring.
cool, okay, and
Yeah.
like keep working. I'm like, oh yeah, I love this scene too. And that's when I realized like there's stuff about Predator 2 that like didn't age well, like the 90s-ness of it,
Yeah.
but it's still entertaining. It's not actively frustrating, it's not boring. Like there are things about it that you're like, oh, you kind of roll your eyes, but it's still like tongue-in-cheek fun. Not
Yeah.
like
And
why is this on screen right now?
yeah. Why am I
Why is the
watching
Predator giving a
this
thumbs up
with a dead man's
with a
hand?
dead man's arm?
That's literally the moment I turned it off. We're talking about the most recent like standalone Predator. Well, no, it wasn't standalone. It's not the most recent. Like the
It was
one before the most recent Predator movie, which is what is it called?
Prey,
Predators.
which was awesome.
Prey was awesome. Yes,
That
we
was
can
an
talk about
awesome
that soon.
movie.
But
Yeah,
what was the other one
that's why I'm
before
glad
that?
we're doing this one because it's timely. This one was just the Predator.
Yeah,
But even though it was two predators, it was the predator being hunted by a super predator.
uh,
And see, I gave it a little more of a chance. I was like, okay, they're
nope.
doing an action comedy thing, whatever. I just want to see where they're gonna go with this. And I was reaching for my. You see, you didn't even get to this part. I was
Nope.
reaching for the remote when the predator dogs were on screen because the super predator had dogs. He had like
Okay.
predator dogs,
Okay.
and they were like it was just such a bad scene. And then I was like, okay, when are the predators gonna fight? And then they did, and it was over so quick. I was like, okay, well, that's fuck this movie. I'm out. Like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it wasn't even exciting. It was just oof
Just
boy.
bad.
It was
And
just
well,
swinging a miss.
and actually, before we get into Predators, speaking of fun and exciting, I just wanted to take a split second and talk about RRR. Have you watched that yet? Did you look at the trailer for that yet?
No, I saw this like trailer on social media for this like superpower Indian movie
Yeah.
where there's like glowing animals coming out of people's fists. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I
And
thought it was a meme for a second, but like,
yeah,
yeah, you said it was good.
See, okay, that's the thing. I First of all, it is a Indian giant budget action movie. Like, I'm sure you've seen the like memeable Indian like action movies where they're like
Where they're like
riding a
throwing
horse and then
cars
there's a
with their bare
and
hands.
yeah, yeah, and the
Yeah.
one guy's riding a horse and he's like, "Oh no, it's a semi truck!" And so he does the
Trips the horse.
motorcycle like slide on the side, but with a frozen horse, and he's just like drifting the horse underneath the semi truck. It's kind of that vibe, but it's done in a very tasteful way. So, in my opinion, I feel like
So
it's
it's
a
that absurdity, but good.
yes, exactly. So,
I
and
can get down with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's worth throwing on. Okay, that's the thing is I thought I was going to be able to just throw it on and just kind of be like, oh, that was kind of cool, or oh, that was cool. We couldn't take our eyes off the screen. Like it was. There is always something happening. People, their faces are so emotive and like it's the action so crazy. It's shot extremely well. Like everything about this movie is like pretty top notch and it's in that it's almost in like a different cinematic language and that's why I had like a really good time watching it because it's not your typical action movie that we're used to and I'm sure that it is a beloved movie in India and I'm pretty sure I know that it's a super successful movie and that's why I was like you should watch this movie just throw it on one day when it's like a rainy day out and you've got looks at watch 3 hours free. Yeah, yeah, definitely throw it on. It's it's worth it. It's like
Wow,
such a
these
crazy action movie.
man, they're really coming for us in the film department, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a that's a big movie, man. And I think I told y'all in the group text. Within the first 15 minutes, someone throws a wolf at a tiger. So it's worth watching, people, just for that stuff alone. And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back with more of the folding list.
If you're tired of the endless scrolling when you finally have some time to yourself at the end of a hectic day, listen to the Nightly Binge for suggestions on the most binge-worthy shows. If you ever just want to throw on a movie while doing chores or laundry that don't require your full attention, listen to the Folding List for reviews on movies that you can watch while not really watching. For the funniest group of guys that sit around and review movies on a brewski system, you do not want to miss Movie Dogs after the credits. And last but not least, tune in to Sandusky's Talk Shit for the funniest stories on everyday problems that an interracial/blended family deal with, and they discuss all of this while drinking. A lot. Also, don't forget to follow our podcast on Instagram. We appear as Sandusky's Talk Shh. That is SANDUSKYSTALKSHHH. Please message us with any suggestions on topics you'd like for us to discuss while drinking. A lot.
All right, and welcome back. Had to take a quick break there, grab some water, do all the dumb stuff that we always do, talk about some of the bullshit. But yeah, we're back to it, and today we're actually talking about Predator 2. And I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but it's one of those movies where you don't have there's not a ton of plot other than the Predator is in a new place and he's killing a bunch of people. Uh, like I don't know what the actual synopsis is. Well, I guess I can read it to you here. Um, Maybe I cannot. Los Angeles is enduring a heat wave and a crime wave, so the pressure on the police officer Michael Harrigan, played by Danny Glover, who's fucking dope in this movie, to solve a strange string of murders is mounting. Harrigan thinks the culprit can be found among the warring gangs and drug cartels, but FBI Special Agent Peter Keyes, played by Gary Busey, knows the horrible truth. The killer is a fearsome extraterrestrial, the Predator, played by Kevin Peter Hall. Super tall. I think he's like a 6'8", 7 foot tall dude. He's played the Predator in Predator 1 and Predator 2.
Damn.
But this Predator's got keen hunting abilities that include superior night vision, heat vision, and the power to make itself invisible. Yeah, like a lot of these movies say you can throw on in the background. It's pretty straightforward. You really there's not
Right.
much going on plot wise that you need to pay attention to.
Well, I think that the Predator movies are always like at their best when it is like you don't really need that much plot. It's just like
Yeah,
you have enough plot to keep the story moving forward, but the setup is, hey, here's Predator versus like some mercenaries, and the second one is like, hey, here's Predator versus like cops and gangsters, and then lot of bullshit, lot of bullshit, lot of bullshit. And then the most recent one is Prey. Hey,
yeah,
here's Predator versus like tribal societies. Everything in between like Prey and this one, it just got too complicated. It's like, oh, well, like these are humans on the Predator's world. And the reason that the humans are brought to the Predator's world, okay, whatever. Doesn't make any
yeah,
sense.
yeah,
The Predator. Okay, so the Predator shows up, they capture him, but then there's a bigger Predator that's coming to
yeah,
steal like
yeah,
superpowers from a kid with autism. It makes no sense. Like it's
yeah.
stupid. Alien versus Predator, same thing. Why are aliens fighting the Predators? Well, because it's cool. That's all you need to
Well,
know.
yeah, I think, and that's the thing about Predator Two specifically is like this is the one. I don't know if they had the comic books before this movie, but this is the movie that at least let mainstream audiences know that there's deeper lore to the predators and predator society and all that kind of stuff than just like it's an alien trying to hunt other killers.
Right.
Like this is the one where they actually find we actually find out that the predators hunt all they've come to earth many times. They travel the galaxy doing this stuff, and like all of these you're I think the thing that sets this movie apart for me is the our protagonist, our main character, played by Danny Glover,
Yeah,
Harry.
Danny Glover before he became Childish Gambino.
Yes, yeah, back D Glover himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. He de-aged himself and became
Oh yeah, he's doing great.
yeah, just
I need to get that
rocking it
skincare routine, man.
on Atlanta. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm too old to be a hip hop producer. Or no, what is he? Manager. Oh, you haven't even seen the show yet, man.
Oh man, I watched the first few episodes of season one, and then I fell off. I
Tisk
need to get back
tisk.
to it. I know, man. I
You
know.
live in Atlanta and you haven't watched Atlanta.
You know what? I feel like you're calling me out right now. Let's stick to
Oh,
the
okay,
Predator two.
okay. Yeah. Let's get back to that.
But like, well, yeah, you're right. And what I like about like Prey is that they like directly tied it into this one
Yeah,
because like she got the like flintlock pistol from those like trappers, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh, that's the pistol for Predator 2 at the end, like when he's like, they'll be back, and like gives him the pistol. And I'm like, oh man, and like that, this is the one that really sets up that like you could just keep doing this
yep,
in different time periods. It could be Predator versus Vikings, Predator
yep,
versus Samurai, Predator versus whatever. You could do it and it would always be good because like the setup is like in itself good of like a super strong, super technologically advanced like alien comes down and starts like killing people, and then the people who are surrounded or dealing with it like have to like outsmart them.
yeah,
And like it was like in Prey, it was like the protagonist like was like this like girl who was really intelligent, good with medicine, and everybody discounted. And then in this one, it's like Danny Glover, the good cop, and like it's just like it's such a simple idea. So just keep it
yeah,
simple, and it will still be a good Predator movie. It's
yeah.
it's kind of
It
like the
doesn't need
Godzilla
much.
movies that we always bring up. It's like, hey, plot like just keep it bare minimum and keep having a reason for these monsters to show up and fight each other,
Yep.
and like
Because
that's all you need. You don't need a big like. It doesn't need to be like Avengers style continuity or anything. It's just like
yeah,
no, just like make it up and set up the like the good set pieces. That's what a good like B movie, action movie stuff like this is
exactly.
it's
Like
not going to
you
be
just have
Inception.
to,
Like
yeah,
you don't need
straight
to
up.
write it that much.
You have to, as long as you can do it cleanly, it won't matter. Like, and I think that's why Prey was so good. That's why the original is so good, and that's why this one is still good. But it's got its problems. Whatever. But this one's
Mostly,
great
it's
just
just the
because.
'90s-ness of it that is so
Yes, yeah.
apparent when you watch it. Because
Tons of
like the movie still,
stereotypes.
yeah, lots
Like,
of stereotypes.
yeah.
LA, it's not. It doesn't take place in LA as much as it takes place in what Republicans imagine LA to be. Because it's just like open warfare
Yeah.
and like powered by cocaine and smog,
Yep.
and like
And then you've got Danny
I
Glover trying to keep everything in control, but then his police captain says, "I'm tired of your shit. We've got the FBI coming in here, and they're gonna take over." And actually, let's go ahead and check that clip out.
all right.
You will extend him your full cooperation.
Which means you're cutting off my dick and shoving it up my ass.
God damn it, Mike. The feds are calling the shots on this. My hands are tied.
Yeah.
Captain Pilgrim, Peter Keyes. It's good to meet you. Nice to meet you, sir.
Lieutenant Mike Harrigan, Special Agent Peter Keyes, DEA.
By all that dangerous marijuana and dreadlocks. Like,
Yeah, basically.
I will say, one of my favorite lines in the movie. I'll tell you what I believe. Shit happens. Like it's like, yes, you guys really went hard with like the Jamaican stereotypes in this fucking movie, but
Yeah.
again, like it was like this is like the early '90s, like cliche kind of.
It wasn't cliche then. That was just what it was. Like,
Yeah.
that's what action movies were. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't like, oh, we've seen this a million times. Like, nah, we hadn't seen the voodoo gangs fighting the coked out like cartel guy with Scorpion with coke all over his face.
He just grabbed two guns, put his face down in a pile of cocaine, and was like, yeah, and like ran and pew, 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 like. It's great though. Like it's
So good.
it's just so like
The,
it's over the top.
Yes,
but
yeah.
like not in a way that's like super like yes, by today's standards it would be offensive, like absolutely. But
Yeah.
like it's not really like it's not shocking
not
or
their-
anything. It's just
yeah, and I don't think that was their goal. I think it was just kind of like these are the baddest of the bad, and if you're thinking of like monster like gangsters, these are the people you're envisioning. Like none
they
of
had
these
to be
people
like they had to be
actually exist.
caricatures almost
Yeah.
to justify them getting brutally murdered by this predator, because in the
Over
end
and over.
predator murked just like so many of them.
Wow.
And then you have like right after that scene you have is it Bill Paxton that shows up? Bill
Yeah.
Paxton, right?
Yep.
You know what's
I think
funny?
he shows it right before that actually, but yeah.
Another through line.
Yep.
He was in Aliens, and he was also in the first Terminator.
Yep. He is the only person to be killed by a xenomorph, predator,
And the
Terminator. What else? What was I think there's another one, but he's the only one that's been killed by all three. Like nobody else has been killed by all three, which is
What an honor.
Yeah, straight up, man. Bill Paxton.
Just keeps running into these like gnarly villains.
Oof, man. Well, it's really that he has good friends in Hollywood. Talking about Jim Cameron, that's his homeboy.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you're gonna have pretty good opportunities when you're best friends with one of the most successful directors of all time. So,
Yeah. But yeah,
trying to get back up
it's
through
definitely
Avatar
like
2.
the what's
right
that?
on time. Right on time with Avatar 2. It's coming. Woo! Yeah,
Woo.
everybody's excited about Avatar 2.
Are they?
I don't think so.
I like literally haven't paid attention. Like, those scenes come out where it's like, oh, we got our first look at Avatar 2, and I literally just scrolled past it. I was like, I don't care
Yeah,
about that movie.
okay.
Like, it was a cool experience back in the day, but I'm like, whatever. Like that. As far as cultural staying power, Avatar like was huge when it came out, and then had nothing. Nobody cosplay as the Na'vi. You know what I mean?
Nope. no. You don't
You know what they
see.
still cosplay as though? The Predator.
Yep, all the
Bam.
time, all the time,
Alien,
man.
Predator, Terminator. Like it's one of those cultural touchstones, and man, like
And actually, speaking of cultural touchstones, let's actually look at the leader of the Voodoo tribe. Let's look at this.
King Willie.
No, I think it is King Willie. It is. Is it King Willie?
It's
We'll
King
see if
Willie.
this is King Willie. Wait, I do also how the music is. It's like he fails very quickly.
Yes. No, I mean that's such a good scene. The scene in the apartment when they like catch that guy,
Yeah,
and
because
then there's
they're trying to basically the voodoo gang goes and they bum rush this dude's apartment and he's the leader of the like Mexican cartel. They're selling all the drugs and stuff, and so they hang him up and they're like, oh, we're gonna do this for who gives a shit?
voodoo magic purposes.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter for power. That's what he said. This isn't for money, it's for power. And they kill him, but while they're killing him, the Predator shows up and just destroys everybody in the room. Like I was gonna pull that clip, but we would just be sitting here watching the Predator destroy a bunch of people. Like
Yeah.
it's not really like an audio clip. You can listen to all of that if you want to, but yeah, definitely go and look up this clip or watch the movie if you haven't seen it, audience. I know you've
Yeah.
seen it, Brian. I'm talking to them. You don't have to worry about it. But yeah, if you haven't seen this, you need to throw this one on, or at least if you haven't seen it in a hot minute. But let's go ahead and take another quick break, and we'll be right back with more of the folding list. All right, welcome back. Yeah, so for this last section, I guess we're gonna kind of get into like the last part of the movie here. The Predator's gone around killing up everybody. Shot up, he kills everybody in the gangs. He messes up a bunch of the police officers, and then there's
Kills
this
an
whole-
entire train of people.
Yeah. Like I had forgotten about that, but he really does get on the train, and then I
And
guess
then he has that creepy sound bit from that kid. Do you want some candy? Like the Predator is like genuinely like scary,
Yeah.
and like they went a little more actiony with this movie, but there are scenes where it's like more terrifying because all the lights go out in the train, and it's
Yeah.
just we want some candy walking towards him, and I'm like, oh my god, this like
so scary.
you
And
really would
and-
be completely fucked if this thing actually existed.
Oh yeah, like a 7-foot killing machine. Yeah, it would be terrifying.
That sees your body heat.
Yeah, that can see your body heat. It's got all of these like alien weapons, and he can turn invisible. And
That's why like all the like techniques to beat him are so cool. Like the scene in this movie
Yeah.
that like when they like fill the like meat freezer with and like the radioactive dust. It's like they're really being clever and outsmarting them. But then that's why it was such a cool thing when the Predator was like, "Hold on, beep bop bop," and like changed his vision. You're like, "Oh fuck,
Yep.
he can see him."
Yep, straight up, man. Because and actually before that, that's where they talk about all of the lore and everything. Because basically, you find out that Gary Busey's character knows that there's a predator. He's not he doesn't give two shits about the gangs or any of that shit. And he's actually there with the government to try and like capture the predator so they can study it and turn it into something. But they're never going to achieve that for aliens or predators. Both of them. It's a bad plan.
I mean,
Let's
it
go
really
ahead.
worked out well with the Predator. So
Fuck that movie. All right.
I could talk about how much I hate that movie over and over again.
Over and over again. Oh man. But so now he's getting all of his Aryan brothers ready.
Cop is back.
Did you notice that?
What?
Almost all of the government people are just blonde white guys.
Don't you show up in the damnedest places.
So every time they do this, they do it in, obviously it's a plot device. But they do it in the Alien franchise. They do it in Predator. We're going to take this thing that we know nothing about, that is known for killing people by the thousands, and we're going to capture it in a little box, and we're going to tell it to give us everything it's got. No, it's not. It's not going to
Well,
work
they're
out.
just gonna like presumably dissect and reverse engineer shit, but it's like
No, no, you're not. You
no,
just
like well, it's so
leave it
funny that
alone.
like these guys like and they know that this thing like took out an entire military squad and then activated
A
basically a
special
nuclear
forces unit.
explosion, and then they're like, "We got this." No, like
No,
you
you
don't. You're
don't.
in the FBI.
We've
Like
trapped it
you're
in the meat warehouse. This will go
yeah.
perfectly. I don't think so. I don't
I
think
think
any of
I
this
think you're all gonna
works.
die.
And spoiler alert, everyone, they all die. So, and then,
Except for Glover, he's good.
yep, except for Glover, he's not too old for this. It's great. He
Well, and he's
survives.
certainly not too old to go on like the whole chase scene, like of
Whoa.
them, like the predator chasing him, and then him like finding the predator again. When he like cuts off the predator's like
Yep.
arm, the predator has to like like inject
Because
himself. He like breaks apart the mirror and forms this like goop and shit. Like yeah,
he's like
it's
screaming when he burns himself.
and then the
Because
old
he's
lady pops out and like
because like Glover like gets the upper hand on him by basically shooting him with a shotgun a bunch of times. He shoots him with like slugs, and the predator at that point, the predator's like, I gotta get out of here, and so he bounces, and then that's when Glover's like, I got him on the run. He starts chasing him. He starts doing all this like trying climbing him across rooftops, all this kind of stuff, and then eventually the predator falls off the edge of the building but grabs Glover, and as he's holding Glover he's like about to set off the bomb to destroy 300 city blocks, and Glover steals his like sharp disc thing and
his Xena warrior princess blade.
yeah and chops through the bomb slash arm of the predator. Good thing it didn't explode. I would have thought that would have just exploded, but
That's how bombs work, right? You just cut them in half and
yeah, and
it's
that
fine.
just solves the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
But at
nothing wrong
that
with that
point,
logic.
yeah,
But then, like, so, like, then he chases him into like his like mothership,
yeah,
and then like kills him, emerges victorious, and then all the other predators like step forward, turn the camouflage off, and he's like, "All right, who's next?"
yeah.
Then,
Like,
and
who's
they're
gonna get
like,
these
"Well,
hands?
no, you're good. We're just gonna fucking leave because there's like a dozen of us, literally."
Yeah,
And
there was
like, I
no
don't know if you
point.
saw that wall of like alien skulls over there,
Yep,
but
yep,
take
and
nothing
that's
for a dozen perfectly healthy predators to just like rip your head out of your back with the spine still attached. Like,
yep, exactly,
but and then that's when they right before that the head predator throws in the pistol, and
yep,
that's when
the
they set up
pistol
like
from
so
Prey.
between this the scene you just showed and the pistol, like we said, there's potential to do this, like just make these over and over again with like different story beats and characters. And I
Yep,
think I'm excited to see after the success of
yep.
Prey and how well that was received. I'm excited to see like what else they do with it. I say that
Hopefully they
cautiously
see. Yeah,
because Terminator tried like doing stuff like this and they just went right back to making garbage, and it was like,
well, but they
like
didn't. They kind of tried to keep the same plot going, and that's the whole point of Terminator, is that it's literally like a cyclical plot. Like there's not much you can do. Like time goes forward and then they send someone back, and then time goes forward again and they send someone back,
yeah,
and
it's
it,
not a very conducive plot for sequels.
no, not at all. And it's going to be boring every time. And I think that's what we kind of realized, especially with that last one. I hated that movie.
I didn't even see it. I heard like it had some like decent action bits,
Watch
but
the
like
trailer.
that's the one that
Just watch the
that's the one
extended
that was
trailer,
considered
and
like
that's
a
enough.
huge bomb,
It it was bad.
complete flop, and you know,
I
and that's they tried to bring what's her name back and have her like all I know is that like it opens with like John Connor getting killed as a kid, and it's like spoilers. But who
It's
cares?
the
Don't
opening of
watch
the
it.
movie. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, but yeah, like what you said, like they're just gonna keep doing this over and over again. And like when Terminator 3, when he's like, "Oh, I thought we avoided Judgment Day," and he's like, "No, just delayed it. Judgment Day is inevitable." It's like, so this movie doesn't matter. None of these movies matter then. Like, are we just watching the same like things play out over and over again?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like unlike that movie, like they had like they could you really could do the same things with this movie and it would still work.
Yeah.
It's just like I remember when you mentioned the Predator comics. I had a Predator comic book when I was a kid that was like literally the Predator in like the Serengeti. Like he was
Yep.
like it was him versus like a actual lion hunter. Like
Yeah.
this, like I think it was like this kid with a spear,
Yeah.
and like the Predator was like murking his like tribes people and lions. Like you could do that. You could do like
Oh, you like Prey. Prey is the now they've figured out the formula. They figured out how to make these things, and that's Prey. Prey is the perfect example of how you can continue the story, but also keep it fresh every time. And then on top of that, we see like it's a great way to celebrate other cultures. Like you get to see. I know it may not be the most realistic depiction of a Native American like warrior from that time, but
but it's good representation, man.
at
It was like
least it's
the
representation.
main character's last name was like Mid Thunder.
Yeah. Yep.
Like her actually she is like actually native. So is everybody
Yep.
in that movie. It's
Yep.
and you don't really see a lot of that, man. Like a
Oh,
lot of the
not at
times,
all.
like they like I mean, so many times, and I hope they've learned this lesson. They're just like, oh, we're just gonna replace this character, and they're just gonna be a white person. It's like, no, like don't like it's happened so
We
many
have to put
times.
butts in the seats.
Yeah,
Like, no,
and
you
who
don't.
wants to see
Like,
them?
they're
You
gonna
know,
come. Oh
it's
my
like
god. Oh my god.
yeah,
It's
it's just
so.
old
Yeah.
Hollywood executive thinking of like
But I'm still mad about this black Little Mermaid.
yeah.
Little Mermaid ain't black. They can't be.
We're gonna cancel Batgirl because who wants to see a black Batgirl? Well, turns out a lot of people, buddy.
A lot of people.
A lot of people really wanted to see that, and
Yeah.
now like literally, you just have like these like anti SJW people on your side. Like, yeah, good for you, anti wokeness.
I
It's
really
just
feel
part
like
of like
that all has to do with Ezra Miller, and they're just scrapping everything that has to do with Flashpoint and Ezra Miller and all that, because I don't think they're gonna release that movie. I have a feeling he's gonna fuck it up. He's gonna do something else in between now and that movie getting released. He's gonna do it, and they're gonna champion this dude until 20 years later. They're like, did you know he was a monster? Yes, we did. Like y'all, you just let him be a star for some reason. But okay, whatever.
well, he's pretty and he acted good, so
He ran real good, looking like Woody from Toy Story, flopping. It's so bad. Yeah, that's
dude, when I
another
saw that
bad
like slow
movie.
motion picture of him running like that, I was like, dude, fuck this movie, fuck this whole universe. I hope it dies. And you know what? He finally killed it. So,
Yeah, yeah,
hey,
no,
you
like
know
straight
what?
up.
Never thought I'd say this out loud. Thank you, Ezra Miller, for being a complete
And
piece
on
of
that
shit.
note, we're gonna go ahead and end end the episode of the
On
podcast.
on a hot take from Brian, we're gonna end it
I'm
right
gonna make
there.
sure we get that clean.
Yeah,
I'm
clip
gonna,
that, clip it.
I'm gonna
Go
clip
ahead.
it for sure.
Cancel me
Yeah.
on the Twitter I don't have, guys.
But yeah,
That's not true. I do have a Twitter, and I would not. I would like for you to go see it.
yeah,
At Aldridge
definitely
Art, please.
straight
I
up.
am joking. Please don't take anything that I am saying seriously.
Now we're gonna cut this part out too, man. Sorry, they're not gonna know you're joking.
No,
Nobody knows.
son
Nobody
of
has
a
a sense of
bitch.
humor.
It's just I'm gonna go viral for saying thank you, Ezra Miller,
You're gonna
for
be
all
on
the crazy
TikTok.
shit you do.
Thank you,
Complete.
thank you, Ezra Miller.
It's gonna be a TikTok song by the end of the week.
Yep, you thank you, Ezra Miller.
Oh man.
But all right, man. Once again, thanks for being on the podcast, and definitely, it's always good talking to you. One of my oldest friends, so it's always a good time chatting up about the same shit we always talk about, which is
Yes.
weird movies and comic books and art and shit.
Yeah.
But good talking to you, man, and listeners. Thanks again for joining us on the folding list. Definitely make sure you check out our Instagram. Make sure you check out our store. And also hit up thefoldinglist.com. We've got our website where you can find all of our old episodes, plus links to our sister podcasts and all that other good stuff. So you can check out pictures. There's going to be contests. We're doing this thing. We're doing it. So definitely check us out. Join us, and thanks for joining us once again on the Folding List.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.